Did you know that even though we're heading into the end of the year right now, that this is actually one of the most powerful times of the year for new beginnings, for manifesting, for setting intentions, and for stepping into a new phase of our spiritual journey? This month is October, and that means that we're under the influence of the angel number 10. And today, especially the day I'm recording this, and I'm going to put this out for you, it is October 10th. So that means this energy of new beginnings, of spiritual new beginnings, is intensified today, like tenfold. 1010 is actually considered a portal. It's a time of such intense potential and new beginnings that it's like walking through a portal if you can take advantage of that energy. So let's start at the beginning. The angel number 1. Well, 10 is made up obviously of two numbers, 1 and 0. And now angel number 1 is about new beginnings, about fresh starts. It's about our interconnectedness and our ability to be co-creators. So it carries a very powerful energy of our thoughts manifesting quickly. So it has a strong energy of determination, of coming up with ideas and having the willpower and the determination and the desire and the passion to get that dream done, to make it happen. It's the beginning of it. But it's that wonderful part of beginnings when you get that spark, you get that idea, and you're so excited about it, and you're just ready to put everything in and just go all in and make it happen. That's the energy of the angel number 1, that kind of new beginnings. It also, with that interconnectedness and ability to co-create, it has a very strong energy of being surrounded by angels, being surrounded by the divine. So you're not going in and doing this spark that you have with the angel number 1 generally isn't about just something that you desire. It's connected to your divine life purpose, and it's supported by spirit. And then we have the angel number 0. And 0 is probably, of all, until you get into the master numbers 11, 22, and 33, 0 is our most spiritual number. It is like, actually, 0, to describe it probably the most accurately, it is God force. It is the force of spirit. It's that energy that runs through all of us, that creates that interconnectedness. It's that source energy. We're all divine sparks of source. So 0 is that energy of source, and that force of energy, that God force that runs through all living things and everything. So it's a very powerfully spiritual energy. Also, if you just think about the shape of a 0, right? It's a circle or perhaps a sphere, right? And it represents encompassing everything. So everything, all potential, all kinds of your ideas, your dreams, things that could be, things that have been, things that are right now, all of it is in that circle. But it's also, at the same time, it's nothing. It's a blank slate. It's emptiness. So 0 is a very interesting angel number. It carries a very interesting energy of being both everything and nothing at once. But another significant thing about 0 is whenever it's seen with another number, it intensifies that number. It doesn't necessarily just double that number. It intensifies the number. It is that much stronger whenever it's seen with a 0. And not only does it intensify the energy of that number, so we've already got that going on just with the month of October, right? The one with the 0, it's that one energy is already massively intensified, but it also adds a very significant spiritual element to it. So you would be able to 1s and 0s, where 1 is the determination to make your dreams come true and make things happen in the physical realm, adding that zero energy to it is going to make it a very powerful step along your spiritual journey. So, new beginnings as far as spiritual growth, accomplishing your mission, stepping into a new phase of your spirituality, the beginning of awakenings, enlightenment, all of that kind of stuff. And it's also very significantly, the angel number 0 is the energy of not having to do it alone. It's God force energy. So even if you're alone, which is the number 1 is generally independent and doing these things on your own, the 0 reminds us that we're never actually alone. We have spirit, we have source, we have angels and spirit guides that are all with us, helping us do this. And if you look on my blog post, I describe it as an embrace. Like 0 is like God, the angels, they're embracing you, they're hugging you, and they're carrying you forward so that you can accomplish your missions and your dreams and your goals, and to be and have the life that you're meant to have while you're here on this earth, which isn't that easy for all of us. So to utilize this energy today, what you're really looking at is this extremely powerful energy of new beginnings, of spiritual new beginnings, but not necessarily in the same way that if it were January or just the number 1 bringing in a new beginning where you're setting resolutions and you're getting ready to make something happen. This is more of a very celebratory and preparing kind of energy for that next cycle. So you're entering into the new cycle, but the last cycle is still ending. So if you really think about it, October, at least here in the Western Hemisphere, I know it's different for those of you in Australia, like Lucy and stuff. Hi, Lucy. But for most of us, and you're still under the influence of, the angel number 10. So this still applies to you. But anyway, so at least in the Western Hemisphere here, our days are getting shorter and they're getting longer, and our ancestors would begin the harvest season at this time. So Halloween is like the first harvest. I believe there's 4 harvests throughout the year and throughout the end of the year. And what it was about was collecting the harvest and then having this great feast, right? So the feast was actually a celebration. We began celebrating, like Thanksgiving is about gratitude and being thankful for what we have, because Thanksgiving is another one of those harvests that we're going into. So, but it was about celebrating everything that they've done, the work that they have done, and this is the time to just relish and indulge in it. But it's going into the time of year where the days are getting shorter and it's getting darker. And it's going the land is going to get cold. There's not going to be all that work. So the energy is very much about reflection and letting go or release, but not release in the same sense, or letting go in the same sense as you probably usually hear about it, like letting go of the past and letting go of what no longer serves you. Not like that. With this new beginning energy and this energy of release is about celebrating all the work that you've done. It's about stopping and reflecting and looking back and kind of evaluating what went right, what went wrong, what did we learn from our failures, what do we want to do the same going into the next phase, what do we want to do differently, and really looking at that stuff and then thinking about this new phase we're entering into and what of that are we going to take with us, So it's not so much that we're releasing the past and forgetting about it. It's more like, now's the time to draw this line. This is kind of a liminal beginning, a liminal space between the past, between the new beginning that's about to start, right? It's liminal. It's very spiritual. And if you think about also during the time of Samhain and Halloween, it's commonly known that that is when the veil is thinner between our physical world and the spiritual world. So another kind of liminal in between space that we have. And that space really is the time to figure out what you've learned, what you're going to take with you. Now, it is not about any kind of judgment, and that's the trick to it going forward. In order to manifest, remember the angel number 1, how I said, what you're thinking about, what you're focused on is manifesting quickly when you're under the influence of this number. So it's really important, especially today. I cannot emphasize to you how important it is today. If you're watching this on 1010, or next year on 1010, anytime during this 1010 portal that we're going through, it is so important to not judge yourself. So those of you who've been watching like the angel card readings that I've done this week, this week, one of the cards are actually, we had to focus on making decisions, right? That I said, I think a big decision is coming up and you're going to have to make a choice. Are you going to go with, the changes that you've learned, or are you going to choose to maybe fall back into old patterns and take the easier road? With no fault with either choice. They're valid. It's your life. It's your path. And it's what you're meant to do. But that is exactly what today is about. Are you going to walk through this portal into this new life, into this new timeline, into this new you? All of this healing, all of this work, all of the learning that you've done, has created who you are in this moment. And now is the time to choose, what of that do I want to take with me? What of it do I want to just leave behind or not carry with me? And you're drawing a line, stepping over it, and taking with you what you want, what worked from the year before, or what's worked in your past, from what you've learned that you want to take with you and do again. What do you want to do differently? And also, through these readings that I've been doing, the angels have emphasized week after week really about not being judgmental to yourself. Self-love, compassion, and not being judgmental. And that now, as we enter this portal day, is more important than ever too. Because, none of your thoughts, none of your feelings, none of the old patterns that you have are bad. I know we hear all the time, like with depression or with anxiety, that it's not a good thing. It's not a good state, right? They say it's a negative state. It's a low vibrational state. So when you start to feel depressed, or when you have negative thoughts, or when you're feeling low, when you're feeling all of that stuff, if you're on a spiritual journey and you're trying to learn this stuff, you jump to, I need to fix that. I'm depressed and now my vibrations are going to be low. And if I want to manifest a better life, if I want to heal, if I want to get better, I got to fix that. And I'm having a negative thought. I just thought that I hate myself, or that I hate life. I'm a failure. I can't do anything. And then it gets worse, because then you start judging those thoughts, and you judge yourself for having those thoughts, and you use those thoughts, those patterns, those feelings as proof to justify that they're true, right? And that's where we run into a problem. What is so important to keep in mind as you go through changes like this, they don't just happen overnight. It takes time to integrate changes. It takes time for a new way of doing things to set in. A lot of us are highly sensitive spiritual beings, and that means we may have come from a previous existence in the spiritual realm where things happened much, much more quickly. Perhaps we could think of something that needed to happen, like earth angels, right? If your past incarnation was or if your past where you came from was an ascension level close to the angels, or where the angels are at, you were able to think about what needed to happen and instantly it would manifest. So you might still have some of that memory of that soul aspect that you now have in this body. So it becomes very difficult to realize that it doesn't happen instantly. You're in a physical body now. You have neurons, you have connections going on, you have a brain and a body and this whole physical dense reality that we're in that has created certain beliefs and patterns and ways of seeing the world. And those don't just change like that. It's much more limited. So when those thoughts come up, when negative thoughts come up, if you go back into a state of depression or anxiety and you have negative thoughts, like even as intense of I hate myself, I'm a failure, I don't want to be here, those thoughts are not going to lower your vibration. They're not going to lower your vibration. So don't have to judge them. You don't have to jump to fixing them or jump to change them or jump to feeling bad because they keep coming back. What happens is, and this was, I actually had those wonderful comments on some other videos last night on YouTube that I am definitely thinking of, but they mentioned how, getting into a state of feeling depressed or low and having to raise into a vibration of love. And what's so important about that is you don't have to raise your vibration. The thing is that you are already a being of love. You are already a being of light. You are already deserving of the things that you want. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to have abundance. You deserve to have prosperity. You already deserve all of this stuff. As a matter of fact, it's going to be a God-given right as a spiritual being, as a co-creator that is here on a mission to raise the vibrations of the planet. You're already there. That is who you are. Underneath everything, we're talking about being your authentic self, your true self, to be in touch with that side of yourself. Take off the mask, tear down the walls, let that shield down, and get in touch with your true self. That is a being of love, and that is a being of light. That is a being who is meant to co-create, to make the world a better place, to raise the ascension, to go help the earth go into the 5D instead of this 3D consciousness that we're stuck in. So things like this will manifest a little bit faster there, right? Do you understand what I mean? You are already there. That's who you are at your core. So you don't need to raise your vibrations, right? What we're talking about, what makes good things not come into your life, they're trying to come to you. They're trying to attract to you. What stands in the way is beliefs. It's those thoughts that you have, right? It's all of that. They create blocks. And so money could be coming to me. Love could be coming to me. Prosperity, good health, all the things I'm trying to manifest in my life. But as soon as I think, well, I don't deserve to be loved. I'm not lovable. I'm not good enough. I wouldn't make a good partner. Or I think I don't deserve to have money. Or maybe money's evil. Money's bad, the root of all evil, right? So I'm not being humble enough. I don't deserve to ask for these things. I haven't done enough to expect these types of things to come to me. These are beliefs that come up. And as these things are trying to attract to you, it's like, boo, belief comes up and pow, it can't get to you. It's being stopped by those beliefs, by those thoughts. So what would happen if that belief comes up and your thought is, look, I'm doing something wrong and I need to fix it, right? That's just another thought that's blocking what's meant to come to you. So instead, as we go through energy like this, as you go through any time, ask yourself, what is it that I am meant to learn from this? Because what if depression comes on, not because there's something wrong with you, or not because there's something wrong at all? Maybe there's something in your life that needs to be fixed. Maybe spirit is calling you inward, to take a look at that and examine that and to come up with a different way. But what if you're meant to experience that? What if that negative thought that you have that keeps coming back, you're trying to change it, but it keeps coming back. What if you're meant to have that thought? What if it's very powerful? What if, and get this, it's a little far-fetched, probably for some people if you're not ready to hear it, but what if that negative thought, what if that depressive state, what if that anxiety, what if that negative experience is actually an answer to your prayer or something that you asked for help with? What if it carries the answer? So when these thoughts and these feelings and all this stuff comes up, you want to, instead of jumping to, I have to fix it, I have to raise my vibrations, or it's not good to have these thoughts, or being judgmental of yourself or of the thought or of the feeling and making it worse, even if the thought is as bad as, I hate myself. Even that thought, okay? Let's use that as an example. It pops into your head, right? So first of all, just because you have a thought or a feeling doesn't make it true. It's just a thought. So when it comes to you, instead of saying, that's a negative thought, why can't I stop thinking that? I'm going to be depressed again. I can't control this. I can't control my life. I just want to crawl into bed and, I'm going to start ruminating and things are going to fall apart. So I have to fix this. I have to fix it now. Or, you do fall into that kind of ruminating and judging yourself for that thought. But instead, when it comes up, instead of thinking, I have to fix this or I'm doing something wrong, ask yourself, what if? What if I'm supposed to learn something from this? And if I am, what is it? So spirit, my higher self, my soul, what am I meant to be learning from this? If something keeps coming up, if you keep having a thought, there's no real point in resisting it or ignoring it. You're so much better off turning to it to start doing some shadow work. And even just make the assumption that I had this thought, I had this feeling, it came up for a reason. And I need to figure out what that reason is. What is coming up that I need to learn? What do I need to remember in my past? Maybe I'm forgetting some really valuable, wonderful talent or skill or trait that somebody talked me out of a long time ago, and I need to remember it and tune into that so that I can have what I'm trying to manifest, or a better life, or to not be depressed all the time or anxious all the time. You see what I mean? So just that one shift, and that is really what we're kind of talking about with this October, or with this angel number 10 and this 1010 portal, is being in that liminal space where old things are still happening, but we're making those choices to change them, to do something different. So if you keep doing that same thing that you've always done when you have a negative thought or when you go into depression, and that's to judge yourself and assume something is wrong, it's just going to keep being the same. This energy is about, that hasn't been working. Things haven't changed. I haven't accomplished what I want, because those don't work. So that's where kind of the release and letting go comes from, but not in the sense of just forget about it. It doesn't matter anymore. No, it's about, learning from that. It hasn't worked. I accept that it hasn't worked. And I am choosing now, going forward, to do something different. So when I get depressed or when I have those negative thoughts, I'm going to ask, What is it that I'm supposed to be learning? I'm going to choose me. I'm going to put myself as a priority from now on. I'm going to choose every day happiness or manifestation, a better life. I'm going to choose love. I'm going to choose me, not the guilt, not trying to be humble, not trying to live up to expectations in all of the ways that I have done things before. In the morning, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to choose myself. And if a negative thought that I'm trying to get rid of comes up, if a pattern that I am trying to break comes up, I'm not going to judge myself. I'm going to have compassion. I'm going to choose myself, choose my happiness, choose my joy. And that doesn't mean you don't care about other people or other things. It just means you're choosing yourself and you're trying to break patterns and you're healing. And that is a beautiful thing. That is a wonderful thing to be commended, and to be proud of doing, right? And so you wake up, I'm going to choose myself. And if those thoughts or patterns come back, instead of judging them, I'm going to give myself compassion. Just like I would anybody that I love or care about who would have those same kinds of thoughts or feelings. I'm going to have compassion. I'm going to offer myself that compassion. And I'm going to ask myself, what am I meant to learn from this? What can I learn from this? And what from this experience do I want to take forward with me into the next phase of my journey? What do I want to take with me? And what's going to help me accomplish what I'm imagining that I want to manifest, to have the life that I want, to heal, to have the abundance, to have the prosperity? What will take me there? And then that comes to the celebration. This day is about celebration, celebrating all that you've done, all that you've accomplished, all that you've learned, all of it. You celebrate it. You reflect on it. You celebrate it. And you might not be celebrating the failures, but you are celebrating what you learned from that failure and that you know what you can do differently next time. There is absolutely no judgment going on, right? And this is that choice. This choice to walk through that portal, to wake up every day and start choosing yourself, to stop judging yourself, to allow healing and abundance and joy to flow into your life. And that is why this portal, this 10-10 portal, is so massively significant, because it carries the energy of being able to do that energy of really being able to make that shift from all of this in the past, drawing that line and crossing over it with only what we need to take us towards our goals and our dreams and our healing and our health and our abundance and prosperity and all of that stuff that you deserve. All of that stuff that you deserve to have. The love, the friendship, all of that those beliefs are blocking every time it tries to come to you. To start letting those go. Start letting stuff flow into your life. And the first way to do that is by celebrating everything that you've done and everything that you are. And to celebrate everything that you've done and everything that you are and where you're going requires not judging yourself, not being so hard on yourself, not being afraid to have negative thoughts or afraid of negative feelings or afraid of falling back into old patterns, because those in and of themselves are not bad. They don't lower your vibes. What lowers your vibes is when you take them and assume that there's something bad and you start building on them like that snowball effect. You have that one thought, so it leads to another thought that this has to be fixed, that I'm doing something wrong, that I can't change, that I can't do anything right, that I'm not good enough. You see, it snowballs into all of that. That's where you start experiencing problems, but it's not even that you're experiencing the problem, that you're lowering your vibrations, because you're still that beautiful, wonderful being of love and light inside. You're still there. You haven't gone anywhere. You're just covered. You're just weighed down by these beliefs and by these thoughts that you're stuck in, right? You just, so the snowball effect, the biggest problem with that is that now you just have more layers to work through, more layers to remove, more thick layers that's blocking what you want from coming to you. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just doesn't. You're already worthy of so many things. So today, on 1010, on this portal, one of my favorite ways to work with this energy is for every single intention that I have, everything that I would like to take with me and forward and accomplish into this new beginning, light a candle for each one. Just light the candle for each one. Take a deep breath, visualize what it is you want, and very much be very aware of thinking about what you've learned in the past, from your failures, from your accomplishments, from everything, and intentionally imagining yourself doing or not doing that stuff as you visualize this intention. And you visualize it happening. And then, once you've done that, blow out the candle and watch the smoke rise from the candle as your angels take your intention up, into the universe to be transmuted and, created and energetically, whatever it's going to do. Just imagine the smoke rising up. Your angels are taking it up into the universe for it to be manifested into a reality. I love doing it that way. You can also close your eyes. Imagine walking through a door. You're walking through from this reality into, a new timeline, a new self, a healthier or more abundant, more easily attracting love and all of that stuff. Self, visualize just walking through that door. And, knowing that this time of year is when that veil is thinner. And so you can walk through it that much easier. And what I really want to leave you with is how important it is that you don't, in order to take advantage of this energy, you don't have to do anything. Okay? That's the whole point of the energy that we're under. And that's the whole point of talking about this energy, is because it's already influencing us. It's already happening. But once again, like I was talking about with our vibrations, as if you're not letting that energy in, then you're blocking the energy, right? So all you have to do today to benefit from this energy is to make up your mind of what you want to do. To choose yourself, say, or what your intentions are, what your goals are, and tend to take all the good stuff with you. Just make up your mind and then be open to allowing it to happen. That is all you have to do. You don't have to do any kind of crazy ritual or, buy any spells that people might be talking about, this time of year about that. You don't need any of that. You just need to exist and be open to it. And it's hard with those beliefs, but today, choose to be open. Choose to let it in. Set that intention that you're going to let that energy in, even if you have beliefs that you're not currently aware of, right? And you'll still benefit from this portal, from choosing to walk through it. It's not like an instant change is going to happen. We're in this dense physical world, like I said, so changes will take a bit of time. But if you go through this portal, you use this day and this energy with an intention of that change, of making that decision to go into healing, to have more abundance, to create your dreams, right? You're going in with that intention, and that intention will continue to build up energy and momentum, and the things that you need will start coming to you. If you need to release those beliefs, that what you need to release those beliefs are gonna start coming to you, and it's gonna start getting easier. So even if you don't, you're not gonna wake up tomorrow and everything's gonna be perfect and what you wanted because you walked through this portal, but the first thing you need may come. It might be easier to choose yourself that day. You might start to feel depressed and then have a thought that changes things or gives you an idea or motivates you, or somebody comes, the perfect person you needed to see, or you hear the perfect song. It can happen in any way that what you need will come. So don't feel like you have to do anything today. You can do the things like with the candle or visualizing the walking through the doorway. Those types of things are just to kind of help you focus your mind on where you need to go and keep, your intentions where you want them to be. So with all of that said, that was so much we talked about, but it's such important stuff that I think about all of the time. And this energy today is just the perfect time to start talking about some of that release and some of that letting go, and those not judging yourself. That energy and these messages just keep coming up for me, and they're coming up in these collective readings, that it's just so important this time of year. And it is so important for all of us highly sensitive spiritual beings who are being called. We're being called very strongly right now to do the healing, to do the work, to walk through, these portals, that energetic portals that exist to help us along our spiritual journey, because the world is going to need us, and we need to be in our healed and ascended state. So we're being called to really do the work, and it's not easy work. That is why we have the angels talking to us. It's why we have angel cards or angel readings or people who can channel and download this information. It's why you have passions and desires that guide you in certain directions, signs. It's why we have all of that, because it's not the easiest thing to do. It's the brave decision. It's the more difficult decision. Awakenings are not easy. Ascension is not easy when you're in a physical body. And we'll definitely have to talk about that more, because that is huge and extremely important. But today, happy 1010, happy 1010 portal. I wish you the best of luck. I send you so much love today. So much love. You have got this. I know it's not easy. We're on a difficult path. Hopefully things are starting to get easier for you, or you might just be beginning your journey. But walking through this portal, choosing to go through this portal and making that choice is going to help start propelling you in that ascension process, so that, some of those beliefs can start shifting and changing, and you can start attracting, the life that you deserve to have, the things that you deserve to have, the love, the prosperity, the abundance, all of it. Because you're going to change this world. And that's why you're being called right now to do the work, so that you can be in a place to help change the world and help others. So I am sending you so much love. And, thank you. The world owes you a ton of gratitude for being one of the chosen ones to go through what you're going through, to keep fighting, to keep loving, and to keep doing it, even though it can be so hard sometimes, but you keep going. So thank you. for doing that. Thank you for choosing that path. Thank you for helping me and all the other people in this planet as a whole. Thank you so much. And I am wishing you all the best. Happy 10/10 portal day, and I will see you next time. Mwah.